Now on Coast TV News.
The cold is here and it's hitting hard. How people are staying warm. Traffic running through Lighthouse Road, why some community members have got some concerns. And Deauville debate develops, why one Rehoboth Beach commissioner is attempting to get oversight of the beach back under city control.
A coastal low will bring some Sunday snow and some rain as well. Coming up, I'll take a look at what we can see accumulation-wise and talk about bitterly cold air heading our way next week. That's all coming up.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Winds blowing through Sussex County. Good evening, I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with cold air settling in our area. Temperatures are dropping and people are already feeling the chill. From bundling up to worrying about rising heating bills, the cold weather is forcing many to adjust their daily routines. And with winds making it feel even colder, even a short walk outside now requires extra layers with coats, hats, gloves, all quickly becoming necessities.
It's definitely cold and the wind just makes it feel worse. And now that we've walked up here from where we parked, I definitely wish I had my coat on.
For now, winter is settling in and making the coast home, leaving us all to dream about those hotter summer days. And we're taking a live look into Laurel right now. Let's check in with our First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihey on our First Alert weather.
Good evening, Charlie. Indeed, it is very cold out there today. At least the winds have backed off a little bit, but already back to 32 in Millsboro, 32 in Georgetown. We only got into the mid-30s for highs today, 35 in Lewis and Bethany Beach. Winds have turned around to the southwest now at around 5 to 8 miles per hour. So in some cases, it's feeling like mid-20s out there. So bundle up out the door. As we have mostly clear skies, some high clouds are building in and a little bit of snow off to our north. Otherwise, there is a frontal system back to the west. That could bring a little rain into our neck of the woods tomorrow and some snow off to our north and west. So mainly clear this evening, temperatures falling off early, and then with that southerly breeze beginning to climb shortly after midnight, mid-30s. And I think that's where we'll be into Saturday morning, and then upper 30s as we go into the 8 o'clock hour. Evening planner, it's very cold early on, and then temperatures beginning to rise a little bit with that southerly breeze. And then, of course, everybody's talking about the snow on Sunday. I think there's a little bit of rain mixed in there as well. I'll have more on that and talk about accumulations and bitterly cold air for next week coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know what part of the cold weather is most concerning. Let's take a look at our results so far. High heating costs, that is where most people are going, 62%. Walking the dog at 6%. Driving conditions, not seeing a lot of problems with that just yet at 1%. And dry skin at 31%. If you haven't voted yet, you can still do that at CoastTV.com or use our mobile app. We have an update on Corporal Matthew Ty Snook, who was shot and killed while working an overnight shift in the Wilmington DMV just days before Christmas. According to Delaware State Police, Reuben Rose, the suspect that Delaware State Police identified previously, told those who knew him that he believed the police were targeting him and that law enforcement was coming after him. He also posted an anti-police post on social media and expressed that he was a victim of gang stalking. The investigation found that Rose had limited contact with Delaware law enforcement in the year prior to the shooting, but none of those contacts were criminal in nature or involved Corporal Snook. We have much more on this story and the shooting itself right now on CoastTV.com. Lighthouse Road continues to see traffic in and off season and has more growth on the way. Coast TV News reporter Drew Bellinger shows us one major point of concern that's jamming people up.
Traffic on Lighthouse Road continues to flow in the off-season. The intersection of Lighthouse Road and West Fenwick Boulevard is one of the hot spots for traffic along the main drive.
It's a zoo in the summertime.
Dennis Pogurski lives in Selbyville and has concerns about all the growth.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to be desired when it comes to the traffic, and it's going to get worse.
Neighbors in Selbyville that I spoke with off camera tell me that traffic along 54 gets so bad it backs up almost a mile down the road to this Harris Teeter.
With construction underway bringing more businesses to the intersection, it could become even more cramped.
It's not that hard.
Vicki Nelson says she avoids it.
Well, I just plan around it. So if I have to go to the grocery store, I go during the non-peak times. I'll go in the morning or I'll go later on in the evening.
Lighthouse Road connects areas like downtown Selbyville to the beaches of Delaware and Maryland. Mary McCann hopes there will be a solution.
I don't want it getting any worse because I moved here from Rockville, Bethesda, Maryland to get away from congestion.
In a growing area, in a desirable location, the push and pull over growth continues, with some locals hoping someone pumps the brakes soon. In Selbyville, Drew Bellinger, Coast TV News.
For almost 2 years, Deauville Beach in Rehoboth has been under control of Denrec, which owns the property. Prior to that, Rehoboth Beach had leased the property for decades from the department. Coast TV News reporter Elisa Weber shows us now one commissioner is requesting that the city look into leasing the property again.
Deauville Beach had been leased and managed by the city of Rehoboth Beach for nearly 50 years. In 2024, that lease ended and the property owner, Denrec, took back control of the area. At a January 5th mayor and commissioners meeting, Commissioner Chris Galanti mentioned he would like the topic of Rehoboth trying to resume control of this beach be brought up at a future meeting. Coast TV spoke with neighbors off camera who said they wanted to see the city take back control. But one person we spoke with is fine with Denrec taking control, but they did notice some changes in the beach's upkeep.
I did think that the beach was a little more littered, and it seemed like it was a long time in between cleanups. I did notice that.
When Denrec took over operations, the biggest change was accessibility. Due to Deauville Beach becoming state property, a daily entrance fee was put into place from March 1st to October 30th. At this time, there is no set date as to when this topic will appear on a city agenda. In Rehoboth Beach, I'm Elisa Weber, Coast TV News.
A spill from Millsboro's sewer system has the Indian River Bay closed off for shellfish harvesting. Denrec estimates more than 25,000 gallons of wastewater has been spilled from Millsboro's wastewater treatment plant. Officials say they first found the spill yesterday, but they're unsure when it actually began. Leaders say this is the result of a mechanical failure. Our Coast Copter caught crews on site fixing damages earlier today. We spoke with people who work in the shellfish industry, and they say nothing we eat should be affected, but it's left some frustrated over potential environmental impacts.
We work hard to keep the bays clean. The oysters are doing a lot of work in the bays to, restore what we have here and to bring more life into the bay. So when you see news like this, it's super disheartening and definitely a step back.
Millsboro officials did not respond to our request for comment today. Denrec says shellfish harvesting, the closure will last 3 weeks, but that doesn't start until the spill is patched. The agency says they will keep everybody updated on what final date ends up being. Denrec also says they are assessing the incident and will issue any fines or penalties if needed. Greenland and Venezuela, the two international hotspots for the Trump administration this week, as the president threatens to take over an Arctic island in defiance of NATO allies and lawmakers. As NBC's Monica Alba reports on Venezuela, Trump is feted by one would-be leader while his administration collaborates with the leader already in office.
Capping off a week of contentious international interactions, President Trump today delivering a new warning to countries that push back on his desire to acquire Greenland.
Well, I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security.
Greenland is a Danish self-governing territory spanning more than 800,000 square miles, with a population of around 56,000 people. It's also a gateway to shipping channels to the Arctic and is rich in natural resources. Trump has not ruled out a military takeover, and that tough talk has Greenlanders and Danes on edge.
It's really frightening.
But today, a bipartisan group of lawmakers in Denmark made it clear to Danish and Greenlandic leaders they do not support a U.S. takeover of the Arctic island.
This senator from Alaska does not think it is a good idea.
There's a lot of rhetoric, but there's not a lot of reality in the current discussion in Washington.
Despite congressional pushback and polling that shows Americans have no desire for a military takeover of the island, President Trump shows no signs of backing down.
We need Greenland for national security very badly.
The president also focused on issues in this hemisphere. On Venezuela, a U.S. official tells NBC News CIA Director John Ratcliffe met with interim President Delcy Rodriguez yesterday, who took office after the U.S. captured Nicolas Maduro, and the two discussed potential opportunities for economic collaboration. That meeting on the same day the president met with Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado.
And I was very, very impressed. She's this is a fine woman.
She wants to be the country's next leader and praised Trump for his actions.
Venezuela is going to be free, and that's going to be achieved with the support of the people of the United States and the president, Donald Trump.
The president says he also admires Rodriguez, even though she is a Maduro loyalist and has cracked down on dissent in that country. And the White House says that Rodriguez supported the U.S. selling Venezuelan oil this week. That sale brought in about $500 million. Monica Alba, NBC News, the White House.
Southern Delaware is seeing a higher demand for radon gas testing. How to test yourself.
It was a cold Friday for Delmarva. High of only 36. We should be around 45. Our low was 23. The record low was 1 back in 1982. Congratulations to Dennis Holford from Lewis, winning a brand new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV. I'll have more on the Sunday snow event coming up a little bit later on.
But first, MLK weekend is packed with cool things to do. Stay tuned for a look at events across the region. That's up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
It's another winter weekend on the coast, but there is no shortage of cool things to do even in the off-season. Coast TV's Christina DeRobertis highlights the annual celebrations plus some new events happening this weekend.
It is Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, and there are lots of ways to honor the civil rights hero. One event doubles as a celebration of rhythm and blues. Music and history will all fill the Ocean City Convention Center for Dreamfest. Also at Epworth United Methodist Church in Rehoboth, a night of music honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That's happening Friday at 7 p.m. The celebration features soul, gospel, and classic hits, and our Paul Williams is emceeing the event. In Lewis, you can get hands-on at a cake decorating workshop at the Lewis Public Library. That's Saturday starting at 1:30. You'll learn basics like frosting and piping and go home with your own creation. In South Bethany, Misaki Sushi is hosting a roll your own sushi class. That's Saturday at 5. You'll learn how to make 2 rolls with ingredients and sake included. And in downtown Dover, it's Dover Winterfest this weekend. There's going to be food vendors, art, culture, even live ice sculpting. Just visit coasttv.com and click on cool things to do for event tickets, details, and more.
It definitely was a cold Friday for Delmarva. We're heading into the weekend on a cold note, but it's going to start to modify a little bit into Saturday. Now this evening it's cold, mostly clear, lighter winds. Temperatures falling from the 30s into the 20s. And it gets more active this weekend. Could see a little bit of rain on Saturday, but very mild, mid to upper 40s. And then we're watching the coast for Sunday for snow and now possibly some rain mixing in to that equation. Temperatures now are cold, plenty cold for snow. 32 in Millsboro and Georgetown. 34 in Delmar, Ocean City 35, and 35 in Bethany Beach. And the winds have turned around to the south and west. Not super strong, but strong enough to knock that feels like temperature down a couple degrees. It feels like 20s and low 30s out there, so bundle up this evening. Precipitation chances do increase into the weekend. Only 14% chance on Saturday, but then 57% chance of snow and rain on Sunday. More on that coming up. But right now, it's mostly clear, looking good out there. It looks like snow's trying to move into the I-95 corridor aloft, and it's weakening and drying out. But there is another system, a frontal system back to the west. That could bring some snow to our west and northwest tonight and tomorrow. In the meantime, we're watching this trough back to the west and very cold air. And on the southern part of this trough, we'll be tracking that coastal low that will be heading our way as we go into your Sunday. So Futurecast this evening has us in the 30s. I think temperatures actually creeping up a little bit with that southerly breeze and some cloud cover. Then we get mainly cloudy on Saturday and mild with upper 40s. Can't rule out a few rain showers. As we move into Saturday night, we're going to thicken up the clouds, and then we'll see that coastal low building in. And right now, this model is showing us warm enough for rain, but then we get that evaporative cooling, and then we could be seeing the snow taking over. And some of that snow could be steady at times as we go into Sunday afternoon. But note the temperatures are above freezing, so any snow probably sticking to grassy surfaces, metal objects, and we're still above freezing as the snow winds down into Sunday evening. Here's a wider view. Rain to the south, snow to the north, and that snow continuing into the afternoon and evening hours and then moving out after that. We're thinking about a coating to about 1 inch southern Delaware. The farther west you go, I think the amounts will be lower. And then from Ocean City down to areas near Westover and Chincoteague, I think we're looking at about 1 to 2 inches of snow. If we get more rain, that will hold accumulations down a little more. Then it's another blast of Arctic air into early next week. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s and single digit and teen wind chills. The coldest period probably Tuesday through Wednesday. Monday morning feeling like teens, and then we go into Tuesday morning and feeling like single digits and still very cold as we go into your Wednesday. 29 tonight, partly cloudy, not as cold, and then cloudy and milder Saturday with a few showers, 48. Then Sunday, that rain and snow, 38. MLK Day, 39, and then really cold, mid-teens Tuesday and Wednesday morning, 28 the high on Tuesday. That's the coldest day of the year, and then a little milder after that.
Thank you, Bob. Radon gas, ever heard of it? It is a natural occurring underground gas. It's odorless and tasteless, and the second leading cause of lung cancer in the country. You can test for radon using a charcoal-based kit. You can find them at your local hardware store. Anthony Maroney, a radon specialist for 30 years, says there are also other ways to test for radon.
Do electronic testing so it measures the radon levels every hour. So if a storm front comes through, sometimes those radon levels will spike on certain homes. Not all homes will do that.
When testing at home, Maroney says to make sure that you're testing away from drafts and make sure you have windows closed for 12 hours prior to the test. Coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night, 8:30 p.m. It is UMES taking on Coppin State. That's women's basketball. Then catch the final score at 10:30. You can watch that game on DSN Plus along with these exclusives. 5:30 Snow Hill visiting Pocomoke in boys basketball. 6, Worcester Prep battling Salisbury Christian, also in boys basketball. At 6:30, Cape Henlopen hosting Milford in boys basketball. And 6:30, Cesar Rodney facing Smyrna in boys basketball. Coming up, crackdowns on Salisbury's stormwater system. What city officials announced that they're going to be doing to try to fix this issue. Stay tuned on CoastTV News at 5. The city of Salisbury is cracking down on privately owned stormwater systems. The city announced it will begin issuing notices of violation to property owners whose stormwater systems are not in compliance. City officials say there has been a decline in the upkeep of those systems, which can result in flooding, property damage, and environmental pollution. Officials say enforcement will begin with warnings, but uncorrected violations could eventually result in fines. Americans are paying more for cars as the average cost of a new car hit a record high. It's around $50,000 according to Edmunds and Kelly Blue Book. No new models are now under $20,000 on the market. Importing cars and auto parts, that costs 25% more now due to tariffs. U.S. automakers are trying to eat that cost, but the duties seem to have doomed low-cost vehicles. Now Edmunds says the cheapest new car in 2026 is the Hyundai Venue at $20,550. Luxury auto sales, though, those are booming. Economists say U.S. is in a K-shaped economy. Wealthy people, they have more money to burn, while everybody else grapples with affordability.
Bundle up if you're heading out this evening. Temperatures falling below freezing. We've got a southerly breeze. That'll make it feel a little colder. And then those temperatures creeping up as we go through the overnight into tomorrow morning. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone. Your forecast just a call away. Sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalas, Federico. Your Paul Davis 10-day forecast. 48, pretty mild on Saturday. A few rain showers. Then Sunday, I think it's snow and a little bit of rain. Right now, we're thinking a coating to an inch, maybe a little more farther south, and then it gets cold. MLK Day 39, and then And the coldest day is Tuesday, 28 the high, lows in the teens both Tuesday and Wednesday morning. A little milder after that into the 40s, and then maybe more rain and snow as we go into next weekend.
A high of 28 on Tuesday. Ugh. Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5. For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Inside Edition is up next, and we will see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.